is our January Knitcrate yarn. It's from Audine Wools, and it's 70% superwash merino, 20% kid mohair, and 10% silk. So each one of the skeins they sent me has 120 yards, and that means I have 240. So I'm making a scarf, see, and I'm calling it seed and twist because this is seed stitch and this is the twist. Okay, let's do this. This yarn has a very pretty twist, a very soft twist, and I'm using size 11 US needles, which is the same as 8 millimeters. So make believe that I just casted on my stitches, and I casted on 32 stitches. Okay, row number 1. You're going to, this is the edge, and see how pretty that looks? So that's what we're going to be making on both sides. So knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. So I'm going to be using space markers so that you can see what I'm doing between stitches. So now we're going to make 5 seed stitches, and that means knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit. Now I put another space marker, and I am going to purl 2 stitches. That's 1 and 2. Now I have the part of the braiding here, and I am going to do 12 knit stitches. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I put another separation there and purl 2 stitches. So a lot of people prefer to have the separations because they might get distracted. So knit, this is the seed stitch, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So that's 5 seed stitches. So knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. So that's what you do on the last 3. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together on every row at the beginning and at the end. So row number 2, and all even number rows, it is knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. Now we have the seed stitch, knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit, pass your separation, and knit 2, pass, and purl the 12 in the middle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Pass marker, knit 2, pass marker, and seed stitch 5. So that's knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit. Pass marker, and the last 3 always knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. Okay, so row number 3, and this is one that we twist. So as always, knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. Now we seed 5 stitches, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and we purl 2 stitches. That's 1 and 2. Now we're going to do our twist, and we're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to use our cable needle. I use anything. I have even used bobby pins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we leave it in the back. So there it goes, and I knit the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I bring my 4 from my cable needle and knit them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am going to purl the next 2. Seed 5, knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit, and the last 3 always the same, knit, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. And row number 4 is the same as row number 2. Row 5 is the same as row number 1. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, seed 5, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl 2, knit the 12 of the cable, this is going to be so warm. Perfect, perfect. It's getting cold this weekend. So purl 2 and seed 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pass, knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. And then row number 6 is the same as row number 2 and row number 4. Row number 7, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together, pass, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. Now we're going to purl 2, and this is the other side of the cable. What you want to do is pass 4 stitches to your cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, and leave them in the front. Now you knit the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit the 4 from your cable, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now knit the last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we purl 2. Pass seed 5, knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit, pass, and the last 3 you always knit, yarn over, and knit 2 together. See how pretty that edge looks on both sides. See, so it looks very nicely finished. So row number 8 is the same as row number 2, 4, and 6. So I knitted until I have on this cable part, I have 20.5 inches. I kind of measured like I have very little left, but enough for a few more rows. And I am going to be making the buttonholes on rows 1 or 5 because that's where I don't have this twist of the cables. And I bought pretty big buttons. I have 3 of these and they're very pretty. And so I think I'm going to do this. Put 3 buttons in there, and they are 1 3/8. So that means it would be like 34 millimeters. Okay, so remember it would have to be on rows 1 or 5 in order not to interfere with the twisting. So let's make the buttonholes. So, the same as always at the beginning, we're going to knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 stitches together. Now this is where I want to have my buttonhole, and I'm going to make 4 stitches because the buttons are pretty big. So what I want to do now is that I am going to bring the yarn to the front, and I am going to slip the next one purlwise. Now the yarn goes to the back. Now I am going to slip that one purlwise, and the one that I hugged goes over that one. So that would be 1, slip purlwise, and this one goes over, that's 2, slip purlwise, this one goes over, that's 3, slip purlwise, this one goes over, that's 4, and that stitch there needs to come back to my left hand needle. Now I turn. So now I need to bring back the stitches that I took off plus 1. So my yarn goes in the back, and I am going to knit that one, but the cable cast on. So knit, pick up the 2 strands of that stitch, knit them together, and cast on. So that would be 1, put them together, pick them up together, and that would be 2, pick up the whole stitch, that would be 3, pick up the whole stitch, cast on, that's 4, pick up the whole stitch, and that would be 5. So that's 1 more than we took off. Now turn, and that first stitch you're going to bring purlwise to the right hand needle. The 5th one that you cast it on is going to go over that last one. So now we have a very sturdy buttonhole. So now we're going to work until we are where we want to for the next buttonhole. So that's purl 2 and knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do another buttonhole. We arrive to the space where we want to be. So we bring the yarn to the front, pass that one purlwise, take the yarn to the back, pass that one purlwise, and the one that you hugged goes over. So that's 1. Bring back purlwise, and that would be 2. Pass purlwise, that would be 3. Pass purlwise, and that would be 4. So this stitch has to come back to the left hand needle and turn. So now you want to replace those stitches, bring the yarn to the back because you're going to be knitting, and pick up the whole strand, the whole stitch, and knit, and now you have back 1. Pick up the whole stitch, knit, and that would be 2. Pick up the whole stitch, knit, that's 3. Pick up the whole stitch, knit, that's 4, and 1 more. So pick up the whole stitch, knit, and 5. So turn, bring the next stitch to your right hand needle, and the last one that you added goes over that last one. And now we're going to knit 3, purl 2, and where we want to have the next take off would be those 4 here. So I am going to knit, and this is the space where I want the next buttonhole, and leaving those 3 at the end. Note, I made a yarn over there. I wasn't supposed to, so I corrected it. Okay, so the next buttonhole I want it right there, and I am going to be doing the same. Pass that, bring the yarn to the front, pass that one purlwise, bring it to the back, pass that one purlwise, and the first one goes over. Pass that one purlwise, and that would be 2. Pass that one purlwise, that would be 3. Pass that one purlwise, and that would be 4. Take that stitch back to your left hand needle, turn. Now take your yarn to the back. We're going to be knitting and we are going to make 5 stitches. So take the whole thing, the whole stitch, and that would be 1, knit, 2, knit, 3, knit, 4, and knit, 5. Turn, bring your yarn to the back, pass that first stitch over purlwise, and the last one goes over that stitch there. And now that would be like knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 together. And now the row with our buttonholes is made. Okay, so what I did is that I made that row with the buttonholes, and then I did the row back, and then I did row number 7 with that twist, and then I came back. For whatever comes next, do that, whether it's a twist on this side or on this side. But then we have a row number 1. So this is where I'm going to be binding off, and I'm going to do the Icelandic bind off. So this is how you do it. You are going to knit that first stitch and then bring it back from the bottom to the top like so. Now you're going to go in between, like in the middle of that first stitch, and you're going to reach into the second one and knit it. Take both off, then bring that one back to your left hand needle from the bottom to the top. So again, you go in between that stitch, that first stitch, reach into the second one, knit it, take both stitches off, and bring that first one from the bottom to the top back to your left hand needle. Again, you go in between that stitch, that first one, reach into the second stitch, knit it, take both off, and bring that stitch back to your left hand needle, picking it up from the bottom to the top. Again, pick up in between that first stitch, pick up the second one. Whoops. Okay, pick up the second one, knit it, and take off both and bring it back. Pick up the second one, knit it, take both off, bring it back to your left hand needle, and then you do that for the whole row, and see it leaves a very nice edge, like if it was a purl eye cord. Very nice. So let's finish this all the way to the end. Okay, see how pretty and rounded that looks? So it gives it a very nice and tidy finish, like an eye cord. So I want to do the same thing at the beginning of the scarf, and I want to pick up those stitches that are in the back, those there. So let's start this. I am going to leave a tail enough to weave in later, and I'm going to pick up the whole stitch at the beginning. So knit that through, and then you're going to pick up the back of that stitch, knit it, and then this one goes over. So it's like if you bring this stitch back and you pick up, but it's easier this way. So pick up that stitch, knit it, and this one goes over. Pick up that next stitch, knit it, and this one goes over. Pick up, knit it, and the first one goes over. Again, pick up, knit it, and the first one goes over, and you do that the whole row. So in placing the buttons, I want when it's crossed like this, I want this edge to show, and I want this edge to show. Therefore, I'm placing the buttons completely inside. Let me show you. So see, they're in there. So this has almost at the edge, like there. And then the next one is there. And I already measured where I want my next button to be. So I am going to show you how to do this, because every time you put buttons on a suit or on a knitted thing, you have to leave a space between the piece that you knitted and the button, because it cannot be that tight. So when you're sewing the button, leave that space there, place your finger so that there's a little space between the knitted part and the button. So I will make, let's see, about 5. And then separate the button from your knit and turn the thread around the button a few times. Make it nice and sturdy, and now you can make a knot in the back. There we go. And now what we're going to do is place a piece of yarn to cover the thread. So a small piece of yarn, you pass it through the button, just to cover the thread. There we go. Make a knot in the back. It's not going to show anyway. And do that on every button. So thank you very much for watching. Please share us with your friends and like our page and subscribe, and I will be seeing you next time. I'll take some pictures of this. It's really neat. This is very pretty. Thank you.